Open Saturday is not a repeat of last Saturday with a tropical storm sitting over us. But Delaware Park ends Breeders' Cup weekend. We've extended the meet, guys, one extra week.
Always a sign that things are going well. People are paying attention, and of course, it's great to have this opportunity on Monmouth Bets to bet Delaware Park fixed odds, and that's the perspective we're going to be looking at today. Elsewhere in the show, we'll have talked about all the cool promotions for new customers, for returning customers, and place money back terms as well. So you'll have heard all about that by now. So let's get right into the tips, and we start off in race number 2. Why don't we begin, Dallas, with an overview of the market that we're looking at here?
Sounds a sensible place to begin, Pete, doesn't it? Flatter me. Number one is your $2.60 and favourite, roughly 3-2 in the fractional odds. Ahead of just the bearish one, so it's top and bottom 280. So what's that? About 9 to 5 or something. Yeah, it is 9 to 5 or thereabouts. 9 to 5. That's its price, $2.80, and then a bunch of them there around about the $7 or $8 mark, which is Practical Way, Leap, Little Faith, and Boca Guy.
Why don't we take a look at Flatter Me's replay from Monmouth back on August 26th? Josh, talk us through what we're seeing here with Flatter Me and let us know why he's your selection.
Well, last time out on August 26th at Monmouth Park, you'll see that he breaks basically 7th, and he was only 3 lengths off the lead. But Mirage really had this horse in a glorious spot, really pulled away when everything was said and done by 3.5 lengths. Got away at a good price, too, at 4.5 to the dollar. Has that great closing kick. This is a 1-mile event on the dirt. Draws the inside, which is huge beneficial position here because it is such a short run at Delaware Park to the first turn. If the horse repeats that last race, it makes it strictly the one to beat. The caveat is the trainer's a little light on entries this year. He's only had 85. He's winning at 8%, but he has yet to win when horses win their last start. So if you don't like the one, as Dallas mentioned, the second one in the wagering market, the bearish one, might be one to play as well.
Josh, I really like the way that was a real sustained run. I mean, he did go and he did get asked to get going pretty early in that race, around about the half mile, probably a little bit earlier. It's a little bit hard to tell at Monmouth with the trees that get in the way. But one day I'll cut them down, Pete, I can assure you. But anyway, but it was a long sustained run, and he kept going with it. That's a good sign for a horse to be able to do that. He was probably entitled to take a few short ones, but he found the line, I thought, collectively well, considering the run it was asked to make.
Yeah,
and
this horse here, last time out at Monmouth. Now, this horse doesn't have a lot of dirt experience, and of course, handicappers have a problem trying to put turf and synthetic. But this horse on synthetic and on dirt, Pete and Dallas, has had good overall speed figures. Like I said, anything based on that last race is the one to beat. But of course, as you guys know, this is horse racing. And so if you want the value, maybe look elsewhere with the 8. But anything off that last race makes this one hard to beat.
Couple of ideas there from Josh in race 2. Let's pivot ahead to race number 5, where Dallas will throw it back to you for a look at the market, and maybe we'll look at some more tape.
Yeah, good thick race here, Peter. Yeah, $2.40 is the favourite. Take the cookies. Ahead of Power Squeeze at $3.90. But as you can see, it's a really good, solid race with 14 in it at the moment. And this is an interesting replay that Josh has asked us to do. Victoria's Dancer. You'll see here as we show it, it's basically tracking Parko on a leader at Monmouth. Who would have thought Parko would be on a leader at Monmouth? That's a shock as well, too. Anyway, that's before they go past the trees, and they go around the trees and through that. And when they get to the bend, it sort of loses the position. And it looked like it was gone or whatever. This is how it evolved.
That inside path there for Castillo starts to progress in the orange silks, shade of pale, Whispering Sea, and the trailer is still Judgment at the back end of the field as they move into the far turn. 50 seconds flat for that half-mile time. Done Enough is still a neck in front. Victoria's Dancer and Bird of Eden. Madame Mischief has had the journey, is down towards the inside, is at the rail, now boosts on through from the back, trying to rally on. Here comes a run from Shade of Pale. Judgment is trying to join that rival as they reach the top of the lane. Done Enough is kicked on. It's Done Enough. Madame Mischief has now moved to the outside. Bird of Eden, Victoria's Dancer, and Judgment's got a late rally on the grandstand side. Madame Mischief has now taken the lead. It's Madame Mischief. Victoria's Dancer is chasing Done Enough. It's Madame Mischief to get the victory.
So Josh, not quite getting there, but Yeah, it was a run you highlighted, and I can see why. What do you want to tell us about it?
Well, that race was in a maiden special weight around $55,000 in purse money. And the competition today, even though it's a very thick entry box for this particular race, of course, scratches are probably going to come down as any racetrack with a massive field like this. But this horse in your past performances has always bet. He was 6-5 last time out. He got 7-2 on that replay run, 2-1 on debut. This horse can easily sit the trip. I know, Dallas, you mentioned the 11, Take the Cookies, who gets a big positive jockey change. But I'm taking a chance on the 8, Victoria's Dancer. Jockey Carlos Oliverio hasn't had a lot of mounts this year, 86 from a sample size. But Pete and Dallas, he's winning 15% when he gets a leg up.
Next up, we're going to pivot to race number 7 at Delaware Park on this Saturday card. And we're going to be looking at a starter allowance. We're scheduled for the turf. We think we're going to be on the turf. Dallas, what do you have in terms of early prices here?
Yeah, pretty competitive at the top here, Pete. We've got $3.30 for Marvin and $3.80 for Dreamliner, fighting it out for favoritism ahead of Offshore Affair at $5.50. And Dreamliner, who I just mentioned there, was another replay again from Monmouth. Essentially getting lost and too far back in the field, but picking it up on the line.
They put a nose in front. WW is in between horses at the rail, losing some ground. That's Veterans Beach back to third. Here comes Graded on a Curve, is moving forward, and right in behind that, Unleveraged is on cruise control from 5th and traveling nicely. Losing some ground was King of Chaos. Then towards the back end of the field, Tis a Prince is back there with Borgo by the Sea, trying to run on Dreamliner. Then Bird's Eye View and the trailer. Dazzling Truce is trying to launch that rally from the back end of the field. 49 seconds flat for that half-mile time. Tightly bunched on the front end as they approach a quarter mile left to go. Veterans Beach is back for more, but nowhere to go as they are 4 across the course. Now up on the outside, Graded on a Curve has taken the lead. Unleveraged tries to continue this move. Veterans Beach is chasing. Graded on a Curve got the jump. Dreamliner is in full pursuit as well. It's Graded on a Curve who's in front, is up by 2. But here comes a big run from Dreamliner, is launching up on the outside of Veterans Beach. Graded on a Curve was A+. It's Graded on a Curve who gets the...
I want to talk to you, Josh, about Dreamliner and what you think we're going to see on Saturday.
I think this horse here has a lot of pace to chase in terms of the paper race. And of course, the concern that you have if you're looking at past performances, you see a lot of layoff lines. That race was in August 19, had a couple of months before that on June 24, then didn't see the track until Tampa for a 3-race stint. So if you can overcome the layoff lines and if the pace does develop, I think Dreamliner is going to be closing in whatever pace that there is. But I don't know off the top of my head the odds for Flying Scotsman, Dallas. But I'll tell you what, how many times have you seen a horse in U.S. racing go from 2 miles to 7.5 furlongs, and that Mountaineer race where the horse earned a 90 Equibase speed figure? If the 8 gets into trouble, I think 1 is going to be a huge value on the fixed odds market.
Well, it should at least run the trip out anyway, Josh, if it's coming back from 2 miles. $16 for Flying Scotsman. And should mention your on-top, we did mention your on-top selection, Dreamliner, $3.80. So bit of value there with the one, more than halving its distance drop, isn't it? 3,200 to 14. That you see that every day.
Definitely something new. And one thing I always like to point out when we're talking about fixed odds, it's a great format to be able to bet a couple of horses in the win market because you know exactly what price you're going to get. So if you want to use Dutching principles where you win the same either way, you could potentially have a smaller bet on the long shot and bet more on the favorite that you like. And it just works out a lot less stressful than when you try to do that on the tote and it's a sliding scale and you don't know what you're getting.
People on that staking plans, I think we touched on this last week about getting the right price. Probably even more so as having the right staking plan. So many people overbet horses, and you mentioned Dutching it. I'm not sure if people understand that, but that's backing every horse to win a number. So if your ultimate numbers say $1,000 because it's a round number, that means you have $1,000 on an even money chance, or you have $100 on a 10-to-1 chance. So your end stake or your end win is the same, which is a far better way to do it than overbet like think that you're going there and I'm going to have $100 on every horse, regardless if it's an even money chance or a 20-1 chance. It's all comparative, and that is one of the absolute keys to winning is the staking, and you can work that out with your prices. And should also mention too, with these prices too, we're obviously filming the, well, not obviously, we are filming this on Thursday night. So these are the first run through too. So use all the prices we refer to on the show, just use as a guide.
Sure. And you can check back on Monmouth Bets to get the most up-to-date information on that. We've got one more race to talk about in this segment of the show. It's our nightcap at Delaware on Saturday. We've got these nickel claimers, fillies and mares, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. How does our market shape up here, Dallas?
The one is the favorite, Moon Me Again, $2.30.
What a name.
We've got to do a segment on names that have got through, because there's been a couple that have got through that have been mentioned in the last week. But anyway, off we go. $2. It sort of sounds like a college football tailgating party, doesn't it? $2.30 anyway for him. Rosie Apple's your next pick at $4.40. Epicurean $6. Playera $8, which is worth mentioning, and Cup of Life $9. And while we are mentioning Playera, this is its last start from Delaware earlier in the month. We crossed over the month in early September, Pete.
We'll take a look at this run here, and we'll bring Josh back in to talk to us about Playera.
Here's the gray. Moon Me Again has a great trip, but is in traffic right now. The rail belongs to Delray Dolly. Nurse Ratchet steep on the track and trying to close in his player from last, along with Daily Briefing. This is up for grabs past the quarter pole. They're using every kind of lane of dirt here. Between Dreams leads the posse in pursuit, but Delray Dolly has a great rail skimming trip. 3 wide is Moon Me Again, a final furlong to go. Between Dreams trying to hold it on for another 16th of a mile. Delray Dolly fights on at 8-1. Delray Dolly got it over Between Dreams, Moon Me Again, and Player.
Yeah, just to touch on something Dallas said, if people here in North America don't know how to use the Dutch method, you can use your favorite search engine to download a free Dutch calculator. And I use that all the time to get those 2 or 3 horses so you can make a educated bet. And talking about horse names, as an announcer who has called for 23 years, let me tell you, I have cringed at some of the names that comes out of my mouth sometimes, and knowing the je ne sais quoi behind it. So, Moon Me Again might be in front and live up to the name. We will find out. Playera will be my pick in here. I don't like the fact that this horse ran a massive speed figure last time out. There's room for regression. The horse only had 7 starts here at Delaware with only 1 second place finish. The horse has to repeat that last race. There has to be a pace meltdown. That does happen here at Delaware Park, going 6 furlongs. If you don't want to take that long shot chance, I would probably go to the market mover, which is Moon Me Again. But that horse runs an off and off again race. So one day he runs a really good race, then he regresses. So I'm going to take a chance on a trainer that's win 20% here, and he's winning 19%, I should say, nationwide, and that's the long shot Playera.